I made it back. Here I am, back from the Philippines after 200, I believe, 75 days ish, somewhere in there. The one thing that it boils down to uh, is time zones. Now, Philippines is probably the most extreme time zone, and most of Asia is like that. If you're going to work with the United States, you're going to do some all-nighters. As a matter of fact, the first time I came to Asia, I slept, or I would go to sleep late, say like 2 in the morning, when I got tired. I mean, I'd probably try to stay up a little later. So it really hit me today when I'm sitting in the back of the Uber and Mary texts me, I'm headed to nap. So I looked down at my phone. What time is it? It was in the back of an Uber on the way to the storage. And because I'm looking to pick up my laptop. One is to give Mary relief. She had been covering me because I said, here's my laptop. I should be able to do just about anything I need to get done on the iPad. Because also, it's just so hard to get these type of electronics in the Philippines. And I'm going to talk about that also. But this all comes down to time zones without a doubt. And I even did it this time wrong as well. So my work schedule was about 9 p.m. to 5 p.m. And 5 p.m. works okay with New York people or the people from the East Coast because frankly, Manila is directly opposite from the Philippines. I mean, it's 9 a.m. in New York. It is 9 p.m. in the Philippines. So my work schedule was from like 9 to 5. Sometimes I'd even stay up beyond 5. Not often. Most of the time I was looking to go to bed by 5 o'clock. It was like a work schedule. And I did pretty well at that. So as I'm sitting back in the taxi, picking up the conversation where, Mary's waiting for me to get done or get to my computer so I can cover the workload, the ongoing workload. Mary goes to sleep. And I look down at my clock and I go, wow, it's, 1:47 in the afternoon. I deal with a lot of professionals. A lot of times, LA time was a big factor. So if it's 2:47 Texas time, it is, I believe, noon time in Los Angeles. And this is where I feel like I gave up a lot in Asia because I need to stay up past that 5 a.m. mark and maybe stay awake closer to 9, 10, maybe even noon into the daytime. So if I had it to do over again, I would wake up at 2 in the morning and work till 11 p.m. Now, I don't think I'm done with the Philippines. I don't know when I'll be back. A lot of it depends on my time here in the United States. I do feel like I would have gone about many things different. One being, I think going 6 months in the Philippines, coming home for a month, going 6 months in the Philippines, coming home for a month might be a pretty good way to approach it, especially if you plan on regularly staying there. So like I said, I don't feel like I'm done with the Philippines. I don't know where else I would go. It's a little warm. Baguio was interesting. I heard it was a very seismic place. But you always ask yourself, 10 years down the road, are you going to be going to the Philippines doing this, jog back and forth? Because it is a jog. These flights, I mean, you kind of get pumped up, to take these flights because they take a lot out of you. That was a legit 50-hour marathon. I think Manila is an up-and-coming place too. Hong Kong, the Chinese Communist Party has, put a stranglehold on the financial Hong Kong. Great place to do business. I believe that Manila could take up that, but Manila's got problems. Customs. It's very favorable to immigration. I was easily able to stay there. The lady, and actually, I got to tell you, from my familiarity with the situation, the immigration probably would have let that go on much longer, even though they stamped my my papers final, because the lady was like very, very nice. The immigration lady was very nice. She was like, oh, well, it's Christmas. I was like, thank you, ma'am. So not all of Asia is, super easy to stay long term in. I think Cambodia, you could stay long term. Philippines, you could easily stay 9 months if you want to. You may even be able to get a year. So, that being said, I don't feel like my time in the Philippines is over. I think I'm going to do more business there. I probably will own a condo there. That is my next project. Is I would like to own a little something that's mine, and I'll be vlogging about that. I think there's a interesting market going on right now. I'm not touting real estate per se, but given my age and the situation, I really want to try to own Scott's spot. So the time zone is a huge factor. The time zone was the factor. All the times I've been to Asia, it's time zone. If you work in the United States, you're up all night. It's a simple fact. I'm not a night person. I was able to adapt. It was a lot of commitment, a lot of very sleepless days. I also, discovered maybe I have a little bit of high blood pressure. I'm trying to manage that. Time zones, working remotely, working with people in the United States. The other thing, looking back too, as I evolved my business during this time, I also don't want to be so dependent that I can't just hop on a flight without a second thought about it. Rather than, I had to make sure Mary was available, trying to cover the workload. And but it was another eye-opening experience. I mean, 9 months, you get a taste. The time zone came into a factor. I took many calls at the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 a.m. 7 a.m. when I'm in bed too, by the way. I took a call. Maybe I was not in a wonderful mood. And it was legit 7 a.m. I had went to sleep. And I'm happy to service him, but I was like, Jesus Christ, this is 7 a.m. I don't want to deal with this right now. I want to sleep. As I evolve, I want to go to a model that is less dependent on me taking any phone calls. I want to work from my phone, limited capacity, and my iPad with, of course, more emphasis on video. I am going to renew my passport. The return to the United States, it was brutal. The re-entry cost was moderate. If anything, it's, feels like a direct assault on my money, just like, having to buy multiple tickets. Am I going to get my money back? All of these situations makes me crazy, as you know, if you watch my channel, paying people as a consumer in this type of situation, different time zones, different places, different countries, is certainly an experience. One thing that's important that I think if you have ideas of doing this, the direct flight that I went on was not the most painful. I want to bring that up too, because another very interesting situation is that PAL was a pretty good experience, the one-way direct flight versus, dropping off in Asia, getting a layover, sometimes, a couple hours, but getting a layover and then popping on to somewhere else generally takes a lot out of you. The direct flight, I would have been really in bad shape, I'm sure, if I would have had a, drop off maybe in Taipei or Japan or Korea. So I ponied up a few extra bucks for the nonstop flight. But the reentry costs, moderate. El Paso, the costs are still kind of, there's, I would say, 10-15% increase from when I left. Gas is still pretty low. The next thing I ask myself is really through this time where I'm renewing my passport and getting organized with the new things I want to take, and I re-up or whatever. Time zone will definitely be a factor. The emphasis on of course, internet, time zone. I don't know, I just may do the US for a little while and see how I feel, because most of the time coming back from a trip like this, I automatically think to myself, why'd I leave? When the money that I spent could have helped me on like probably 4 months pretty easily over there still. The travel cost for staying there is significant as well. I would say, just in general, from buying tickets, immigration monies, I'm talking expenses related to me staying in the Philippines, ran about $275 a month. Travel around a little bit in the Philippines, bounce around taking videos, doing different things for the channel. Tax onto that cost monthly. So I would say this trip was really good. Time zone was a ginormous factor. And I do think that, looking back at this, that some sort of scheduled or planned 6-month cycle and own a condo in Manila, because Manila in general is going to turn out to be a financial hub. I mean, I still think Malaysia is really good, but I think it's going to either be Mumbai, India, or it's going to be Manila. But I also think, Dubai is another really good place. So I will have future dealings there. Hope that video made sense. I'm back, feel fine, feel pretty good for a 50-hour travel. Had some small issues with my phone service. I set it up to where I would have phone service when I re-enter, and I got that squared away about 3 flights into this adventure. I think that's it. I think that's the low down and dirty story. I'll catch you on the next video.